fix things when they're wrong, and always stay positive and always stay confident and knowing that every day is a new day.
Like we said here, we're having a Chicago Cubs pitcher, Randy Wells. You're from Belleville. Were you a Cardinal fan, or what fan did you grow up?
Yeah, no, I was definitely a Cardinal fan growing up, and
is that weird now? Was that weird at first?
Yeah, at first it was, but it's easy to get over it when somebody's paying your paycheck. So.
We talked to I don't know if you met him, draft pick Eric Jokic from Northwestern, and he's a Cardinal fan, and he said the same thing. Once someone's paying you, it's kind of, you get over it real quick.
Yeah, I've spent enough time now that in the organization that it's almost it's not even, I don't even remember being a Cardinal fan, so it's kind of a weird deal because my whole family still is, but it's kind of cool being part of the whole rivalry. If I played for another organization, it'd be kind of weird, but being a part of the whole Cards-Cubs thing is kind of fun to be a part of.
I'm a Cubs fan myself, and I'm definitely a minority down here in Edwardsville. And I happen to witness and since I've been alive, is historic. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't. But when you guys swept the Cardinals back in September, I went to all 3 of those games, and you pitched one of those games, 8 innings against Wainwright and the gang. Was that as a team? Did you feel going forward that was something that you can build on? Because the Cardinals at the time were really struggling. They were a flat ball club, more so than I've ever seen before. Was that? Do you think that it was? How did you view them at the time?
Well, I think, the old cliche is you never want to, overlook your opponent. So, the Cardinals are a tough team. They're well managed. They have a lot of talent. Obviously, they got Albert Pujols. So, we never, ever think of any team as, they're down, let's just go in there and beat them. Any team can wake up at any time. So, I think going in there, we knew it was going to be a tough game. We knew, Card-Cub rivalry. We knew they wanted to beat us. We knew we wanted to beat them no matter what kind of seasons we were having. It's kind of like our own World Series within a, season. So it was good to jump out and beat them. And obviously, pitching well down there in front of family and friends was a huge highlight for me. So it was a fun time. And like I said, building for next year, definitely. I think Mike Quade was definitely trying to, interview for a job, so it was good that we responded the way we did and then finished the year the way we did. It definitely brings a new vibe into camp this year.
Yeah, that was definitely the quietest 3 days I've ever seen at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to be a part of. So it's cool to stay at home and see family and friends, and also go not have to listen to them talk the smack about the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, but I bet you still get that to this day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess I don't mean to ask you a question that I'm sure the Chicago media asks you every day, but just how different is Quade from Piniella?
They're just two different people. It's pretty obvious. Lou's a Hall of Fame, player, manager, together. He was at the end of his career. I don't know if, I know he's dealing with some personal issues, so I don't know if he was quite ready to hang it up, but he made the decision, and that was it. But Quade's he's a fresh, young, he's ambitious, he's energetic, he's like, he's got his first major league, managing job, so he's in there, he's hands-on, and that's just something that Lou hadn't done at the end of his career, and I think people just respond to that, respond to a guy that wants it more than you do, or as much as you do, I should say, and it's just in the thick of it, and he's just very what's the word I'm looking for? He's very he lets you know where you're coming from. He lets you know where you stand. It's not like you're in the dark, or he just goes behind his office doors and thinks about stuff. He lets you know where you stand with him, and it's pretty easy to get along with.
So going back to the Cardinals a little bit, what was the reaction in the clubhouse when you found out about Wainwright and the Tommy John surgery?
You never want to see anybody go down with an injury that significant. So his first reaction was, wow, what a tough break for him. The obvious, everybody, says, well, the Cardinals aren't as good without him, but that's not true. He always you're always looking for somebody within your organization or outside the organization to come in and help you step up. So you never know what kind of team they're going to be. Obviously, Wainwright's a huge, piece to be missing. But as far as us, we can't look at anything like, oh, he's gone. Now we got the Cardinals because, like I said, they still got a pretty good pitching staff. Plus, they got a guy named Albert over there that can always, go off. So, and in my opinion, there's other teams that in that division that you got to look out for now, like Milwaukee and Cincinnati, and I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with as well. So it should be a pretty good Central battle this year.
Yeah, and it's really with the Wainwright injury, like the Central's all going to be interesting this year, but definitely with that injury, I think that adds a lot more to the balance. I mean, I'm not saying it swings the pendulum a whole lot because the Cardinals, like you said, are an organization that they're well run, and
there's always a young guy. If not, there's always a guy that's in AAA looking to get his shot.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it, he steps up and feels old. I was kind of one of them guys, so.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to get. Just because a guy goes down doesn't mean your season's over, especially just one guy. So,
when you broke into the league, was it because of someone else's injury? I'm not sure. I don't remember. Or did you make it out?
Well, I made it with Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I got Rule 5, but then I came up in September with the Cubs. So, I think a guy retired. I don't know if he got hurt.
Actually, that's a question I meaning to ask. Was going to ask you is being in two different organizations. Is there really that much different of a philosophy between organizations for like bringing you up in the system and such?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Nobody ever really knows any. It all depends on who's running the organization at the time. I think
As a player, do you really notice? I guess
the only organization you ever hear about that's been ironclad for years is the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Cubs do a great job. It's more of a family feel. The Blue Jays was an awesome organization. They, like I said, another family feel. Like they really, stuck with their own and stuff like that. So, those are the only two organizations I've been with. So I don't really know, man. But I think everyone's pretty much, pretty close to each other.
Mm-hmm. Out of all the people you face in the majors, what at bats do you remember facing people? Is it people in your rookie year, where you face the Pools for the first time, or other great hitters, and you think, wow, like I'll remember this for the rest of my life? What at bats do you think you remember?
Yeah, I think obviously Albert. The first time I faced Albert, or first time I pitched against St. Louis was huge. I knew, from growing up down there, I knew that everybody stopped what they're doing, either listen to the game or watch the game. So it's kind of weird. Going through that, I'll never forget my first outing in Toronto. I think, like I said, I think big games, my first win, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely clinching the NL Central in 2008 was fun to be a part of. Spraying champagne in the clubhouse, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. So, it's just little moments like that. I try to take something away from every day. I know how fortunate I am to be there, and like I said, you get to play Major League Baseball for a living, so every day is pretty fun. So you gotta try to take something away from every day.
Talked to someone from the Diamondbacks a couple weeks ago from SIUE, Clay Zavada, and who had Tommy John surgery also, and he's working his way back, and he definitely said that every day that you're in the majors, you appreciate it, which is good to hear from someone as young as you two, because sometimes you hear that people don't appreciate it till later in their career, and they're like, oh wow, this is all about to go away.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun to be a part of, and I've dreamed about it my whole life. So now that it's here, it's still pretty surreal.
And I was looking through old interviews on YouTube on you yesterday, and you were a converted catcher.
Yeah.
I guess at what point did that happen? Was it because hitting wasn't up to par, or?
Yeah, I guess, man. I just wasn't really getting opportunities. I was a late draft pick. Some guys were signing and stuff like that. I wasn't really hitting, wasn't getting to play that much, and still had a pretty good arm, and I was growing a little bit. So, yeah, it was just kind of a lot of things just kind of factored into it. I switched over in 2004, and been pitching ever since.
It seems that happens a lot more than people think.
It does in our organization, yeah.
Yeah.
We do a lot.
I didn't realize that people like Jason Mott, he was converted, and like there's just it seems like more and more there's when all else fails, turn him into a pitcher.
Yeah, for sure.
And last season, the Cardinals and Reds were, at it, kicking each other and such. And Joey Votto, said he didn't congratulate Marlon Byrd on the All-Star, or on his play, his game-saving play in the All-Star game, because, he hated the Cubs. Which, publicly, you really don't see that anymore with free agency and stuff. Is there a team that you guys despise? Or, when you...
I think we despise every team.
Yeah.
We try to win every game. I think that was very unprofessional of Joey Votto. I actually respect him as a player and think he's a great talent. But after that comment, it's just kind of, what's the point of something like that? Yeah, you want to beat everybody on the field and you want to win the division. You want to be a good teammate and stuff like that. But to blatantly disrespect another player in the league just because he plays for a team that you don't like, it's just, especially in that kind of setting when you're all, you're playing on the same team.
You're supposed to be one.
That's to try to get the National League or your team home field advantage in the World Series. So I think everybody just lost sight of the ultimate goal there, and that's to everybody wants to win the World Series, and the All-Star game, as fun as it is and as loose as it is, it still has a big effect on your team if you do make the playoffs. So for him to be that unprofessional and say something about a great talent like Marlon Byrd like that just because he plays for the Cubs is just. It's stupid, and they ran their mouth, and they paid for it. The Yachty, Brandon Phillips thing like that. It's just, you never want to leave it. Wake up a sleeping dog. I guess is another cliche. I guess I'm dropping all kinds of cliches on you, but you're doing good. Your team's rolling, and then all of a sudden you open your mouth, and it's just it's not a good thing. So
yeah, it's not the '80s anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody gets even. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it just shocked me because you really you never and since I've been in a company you really don't hear like we hate the Cardinals, you don't have this like chip on your shoulder. I mean you do.
We hate the Cardinals, but
but you don't say it like the way
on the team. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say I don't.
Yeah, the city of Chicago wants to beat the Cardinals, just as much as they want to beat the White Sox. So
right.
We definitely don't like their organizations within the thing, but the players and the people that work for them, you can have a lot of respect for. So I think it just goes hand in hand. You don't want to say, oh, we got to play the Cardinals today, and oh, they're great guys over there. We hope we beat them. No, we definitely want to beat them, and yeah, we don't like them and stuff like that, but got a lot of respect for a lot of the guys on the team.
So basically, like you said, the way Joey Votto went about saying that, it's just
very unprofessional.
Yeah,
very unprofessional. Especially publicly.
Yeah. I guess being in the show, what was like the coolest thing that you didn't expect?
I think it's like the plane ride. pretty hard. It makes a flying commercial very hard. All the turn your iPod off and your seat back can't be back kind of stuff like that. It's hard to fly commercial now after flying private for for these years. So it's I thought that was pretty cool. The chartered flights, everybody hanging out. It's a pretty fun experience.
Mm-hmm. I saw somewhere this spring you guys are watching the Charlie Sheen debacle.
Yeah, he swept the Cubs clubhouse. Yeah.
What I guess who's the most fascinated with it in the clubhouse? Or is it
Sean Marshall? Yeah, he won't stop quoting Charlie Sheen. So it's kind of annoying.
hey, but if you guys get off to a good start, then you could be like winning by winning.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
I want to get off to a great start and win. I don't know if I want to hear Sean Marshall say winning one more time.
Well, maybe
I'll take it if we do it a lot. So
maybe instead of Go Cubs Go at the end, you can have a Charlie Sheen little mix and then go into Go Cubs Go at the end of the game.
We'll see. Maybe we'll get Charlie Sheen to sing the 7th-inning stretch.
Oh my gosh, I could see that happening. And I saw he's having a show in Chicago soon, so.
There you go.
Well, hey, if that happens, you and me called it.
All right, man.
I guess. Have you ever played yourself in a video game?
No, I haven't yet. I heard I'm not as tall as I am in the new 2K11, so I was kind of bummed out about that. But no, I've never really owned like a game console or anything, so I've never really played. But I'd like to.
What today is one of the biggest sports days of the year. Who do you got winning the NCAA tournament?
I just filled out a bracket. I can't remember what I picked. I think I know I got Kansas, Duke, Pitt, and Ohio State, maybe.
Ooh.
Is that bad?
No, I know as probably as much as you. I don't follow. I
don't know anything. I just went down. I filled it out in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I find it college basketball watching the season is almost as irrelevant as the first 3 quarters of an NBA season.
Terrible. I'm a huge Illinois fan, so I picked Illinois as far as I could, and then I had to cut ties. So.
Yeah. Hey, and watching Illinois has been tough this year. They're an underachieving team.
For sure.
I guess we'll get back on the topic of baseball real quick. I don't know how much time you got left.
I got to get going here pretty soon. But.
Okay, we won't keep you for long then. Playing in Chicago, it's kind of a fishbowl, and with all the day games and the media and all that stuff, I'm sure that could wear on you, the media especially. Do you think that it takes a special type of person to play in Chicago to be able to, deal with all the big city kind of thing?
I don't know. I think you just got to let it go in one ear and out the other, and just keep doing what you do every day, and don't change just because of what the media perceives of you. It's people are gonna say whatever they want to say. They're gonna write whatever they want to write, no matter what. And only about a quarter of it's true. So I think if you can just keep that in your head, that a lot of it's just false statements, and just keep doing what you do. Show up every day and play as hard as you can, and let everything just kind of take care of itself.
All right then.
But if you're a guy that lets the media get to you, yeah, it can definitely bring you down.
AKA Milton Bradley.
So, yeah. I don't know. So, no comment.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't. But okay. Well, thank you for coming on.